that hammer down.
Bad call. He loves his hammer.
You want me to put the hammer down?
Easy, Thor. I have a better idea.
Since the first phase, these three characters have been the primary focus of the MCU on all major movies. The first Avengers happens mostly because of Thor's brother Loki. The second Avenger movie because of Tony's desire for a suit of armor around the world. And Civil War, which I know is not really an Avengers movie, still is primarily focused on Captain America, and there are a lot of heroes in it. Although you could say everything is a changed reaction from Thor's first movie. Loki hated him, wanted to rule Earth to spite him, left the Mind Stone there, which caused the creation of Ultron, which caused the Sokovia incident, and Simon's desire for revenge, splitting the team. Negative points for you, Thor. Just like that, this video is an answer to explore the action of these three throughout the 10 years of the MCU, and to answer the question, who's the better hero? So let's start at the beginning. After a traumatic event, Tony Stark has a change in perspective, leaving his old ways behind.
I'm being responsible. That's a new direction for me, for the company.
Trying to retake his company, and helping those in need. It's a great arc for an origin story and the best Tony Stark we've had so far. I don't really think this movie affects his chances, so let's move on. While dying from intoxication, Tony becomes highly responsible, putting those he loves in danger. It's like he learned nothing. Technically, people die because of him again. So going negative here, I'm not really sure with this direction, but again, he was dying. Or maybe he just wants to die. Steve Rogers is the easiest character to relate to.
I don't want to kill anyone. I don't like bullies. I don't care where they're from.
Starting as a little man that grows to become a hero in time of need. Extra points for standing up to the cinema guy. Always motivated to act because of his friend Bucky, but still he saves a lot of people. Twice, by sacrificing himself. And waking up in a future realizing he lost everything. On his first movie, much like Stark, Thor begins as a proud man whose actions spark war and the death of many frost giants. So after being exiled, Thor gives up on life in Asgard, but Loki couldn't risk it. So when he did at this point, it's not Thor's fault.
Is it? Is it?
Well, okay, Loki blames him for the way he turned out, so it's probably on him. Still, he sacrificed a love that will not last to save an entire race. And he finally grows a little, after 1500 years. So far I'd say Steve is a better hero at this point. The Avengers movie, with a new Bruce Banner included.
Thought we wouldn't notice, but we did.
Tony and Thor are still a little childish, unlike Steve.
Do not understand.
I do. I understood that reference.
Wait, I take that back. But from this entire movie, there's one particular scene I want to mention.
I've seen the footage. The only thing you really fight for is yourself. You're not the guy to make the sacrifice play.
The Russo brothers really love callbacks, so personally, I think you're dead. Tony has to die to prove Steve wrong, which would be the Tonyest thing he could ever do. Anyway, while everyone acts equally heroic throughout the movie, Stark saved a bunch of people from a falling Harry Carey by putting himself at risk, as well as putting a nuclear bomb in space by sacrificing himself. And just like Steve, he got lucky. Not looking great, Thor. All of this was because of you. Except Iron Man 3 exists. Tony continues to fix problems caused because of him. And again, putting his loved ones in danger. I like the movie overall, specifically the villains, but doesn't really do Tony any favors. Next, after Asgard is attacked by dark elves and many die, including his mother, Thor decides to go against his father, who can only think about revenge, risking all Asgard because of his sentiment.
War isn't won by sentiment, Director.
It's a nice sentiment.
Sentiment. This is the basest sentimentality.
Never one for sentiment, were you?
Sentiment!
All goes well, no more Asgardians die, maybe some people on Earth, but he basically gave Asgard to Loki. It's kinda hard to judge your heroic levels, Thor. In Winter Soldier, Steve tries to do good, but he just can't stand still when freedom is in danger. Again, solving others' problems. Although his team did capture Soul and Captain America 1, facilitating Hydra's infiltration. Still, he stops a huge threat and saves millions and Bucky. Again. In Age of Ultron, Stark, always taking a step back. Many die because of this. They're all equally heroic, but still, this wouldn't have happened if Tony Stark wasn't Tony Stark, I guess.
Stark he's a sickness. Aw, Junior. You're gonna break your old man's heart. Ultron. My fault.
This one and Civil War are one of the most frustrating movies because they paint Tony as the villain. Also, this one is kinda tricky as well. On one hand, Steve prioritizes Bucky over mankind, but I also don't agree with Tony and the Accords. And Thor is nowhere to be seen. The fact is that Steve was right, Tony should have listened, he was wrong. And Natasha said it best.
Are you incapable of letting go of your ego for one goddamn second?
Tony is also incapable of letting go of the past, and should know that what he's doing is not right, to the point that he almost became a murderer. Technically the villain of the movie. Again. But still, he tries to do good. I love the fact that he's trying to be the father figure he didn't get. But he's a terrible mentor and probably shouldn't act like one. There's little to Tony in this movie. Next. Thor on the other hand is fighting for his people, dealing with the mistakes of his father, even sacrificing Asgard itself. It's a good portrayal of Thor's growth, realizing there is more to him than just Mjolnir. But otherwise, there's not really much of an arc. From all of Infinity War's accomplishments, I am most surprised at how they managed to make a hero dislikable. Peter Quill.
Wait, what kind of weapon are we talking about here?
So cool. I like you.
Yeah, because it's gonna let you win. Anyway, I'm glad he died as well. Most notably in Infinity War, they continue to give Thor a new dimension.
But what is the answer?
So what would be more shocking? The loss of the nicest, sweetest Avenger? Or the one that needs to prove he's actually a hero? Or even the broken man that feels the weight of half the universe in his shoulders? If anyone had to go, Tony would make more sense. At least my money is on him, simply because killing Thor wouldn't have as much of an impact with his current arc. Steve on the other hand hasn't been able to enjoy life as much, be it with Bucky or even Sharon. Cutting it short would certainly make it more painful. Tony has had a terrible track record, has more to prove, and he's had his fair share of fun.
You can count on me to pleasure myself.
Plus, there is no more space for an interesting arc with the way he was developed, as well as being the most expensive. But I certainly hope and expect to be surprised. Do let me know who you think is gonna die if you haven't seen the movie. I hope you enjoy watching the end of an era. That's it, take care, bye bye.